In this video, we'll show you how to launch predictive dialing in SalesRender. SalesRender is a CRM system with a built-in predictive dialer. That means you don't need any third-party integrations or your own development team. Simply click Get a Demo and we'll get in touch with you. A predictive dialer is an automated call-in mode where the system dials numbers for you and agents are connected only when a real person answers. No ringing tones, answering machines, or dropped calls. SalesRender's predictive dialer is powered by an advanced voicemail detection engine, our own proprietary technology. Here we have listed everything the system can detect before the call is transferred to an agent. Unknown voicemail detector, silent answer detection, voice assistant detector, call waiting line detection. If the predictive dialer reaches a busy second line, the algorithm keeps waiting for the person to answer and connects the agent as soon as the call is picked up. Universal detection. All detection algorithms work in any country and in any language. And the core is a predictive dialing engine itself. It intelligently predicts the optimal number of outgoing calls, monitors agent availability, and ensures a continuous flow of live conversation without pauses for ringing or dropped calls. To launch predictive dialing, you first need to purchase predictive lines, or in other words, PDS lines. The pricing is available on our website. What is a line? A line represents one simultaneous outbound call. The number of lines determines how many calls the system can make at the same time. How to calculate the number of channels? First, determine how many of your agents will be using the predictive dialer. Predictive dialing works with any number of agents. However, since the algorithms makes decisions based on real-time statistics, it becomes more accurate and efficient as the number of agents and calls increases. That's why we recommend starting with at least 10 agents whenever possible. We also recommend purchasing at least 3 channels per agent, so the predictive dialer has enough capacity to scale and isn't limited by the number of simultaneous calls. The minimum purchase is 25 lines. If you are not ready to purchase 25 lines right away and simply want to evaluate the system, we can provide a 2-day trial of predictive dialing. After the trial, we'll help you choose the optimal predictive dialing settings, and then you can subscribe to the appropriate plan. You can purchase PDS lines and pay for them from the billing page, which opens when you click your account balance. In the subscription section, click Edit, then select PDS channels. This is what we call our predictive dialing lines. You can increase the number of PDS channels at any time. If you reduce the number of channels, the change will take effect at the beginning of your next billing period. On the same page, you'll also find your subscription details, total subscription cost, paid through date, number of CRM users and their cost, number of PDS channels and their cost. Now let's move on to configuring the predictive dialer. First, I'd like to mention again that our team can configure the predictive dialer for you. Simply contact our support team and we'll take care of the setup. The first step is configuring your call center. Go to Management, then Call Centers, then open the call center where you want to enable predictive dialing. If you have only one call center but want predictive dialing to be available to only a limited group of agents, that's absolutely possible. We'll show you how in a moment. Simply enabling predictive dialing for a call center does not automatically enable it for every agent. Now let's open the call center. Pay attention to the PDS settings section. To enable predictive dialing, you need to specify the telephony plugins that will be used for predictive calls. You can use the same telephony plugin you are already using for progressive call mode. Next, specify the number of channels. The number of channels assigned to each telephony plugin determine the maximum number of simultaneous calls that can be placed through that plugin. The next setting is greeting audio files. Optionally, you can upload audio recording that callers will hear while waiting to be connected to an agent. By default, if no greeting files are uploaded, the system plays a standard recording with subtle office background noise. This creates a natural atmosphere and prevents callers from hearing complete silence while waiting. Your greeting audio shouldn't be too short. If it finishes before an agent is connected, the call will be automatically terminated. You can upload multiple greeting files, and each file can be given a custom name after it's uploaded. Please note that this section is only used to create the list of available telephony plugins and greeting files. The actual plugin used for predictive dialing is selected later in the call center management. You can add multiple telephony plugins here, using some as primary plugins and others as backup options. The next setting is inactivity time. If an agent remains inactive between calls, for example, they don't move the mouse or interact with the interface, the system automatically removes them from predictive dialing by changing their status to break. You can adjust this timeout depending on your workflow. The shorter the timeout, the more frequently agents will need to interact with the interface to remain active. We recommend set it like 60-90 seconds. To give agents something to do between calls, we have even included a small cat game inside the interface. We'll show you exactly how that works a little later. Now, let's move on to the next step of configuring predictive dialing. Using this button, you can open the call center management and call mode settings. We will start at the bottom of this page with teams. Teams are groups of agents within your call center. You can organize them however you like. For example, experienced agents and trainees, or day shift and night shift agents. When creating a new team, you will now see the option to create a PDS team, which is a team dedicated to a predictive dialing. As you can see, a single call center can contain multiple teams. However, one agent cannot belong to both a regular team and a PDS team at the same time. The only exception is when you have multiple call centers, like in this example. In that case, you can create a PDS team in each call center and assign the same agent to both. Let's continue configuring the team. First, enter the team name. Next, add the agents who will be working in this team. You can add agents moving them or using this button. You can also drag an agent directly from a regular team to the PDS team. Once moved, the agent is automatically removed from their previous team. We have now added the required agents. If there are too few agents in the team, the system will display the following warning. If you add more agents, this warning will disappear. Unlike a regular team, a PDS team includes several additional settings. Maximum abandon rate. This setting defines the maximum percentage of calls where the client hangs up before an agent becomes available. Such calls are considered abandoned calls. By default, this value is set to 6%. If the abandon rate exceeds this threshold, the predictive algorithm automatically adjusts itself by slowing down the dialing pace. We recommend leaving these settings as its default value when you first start using predictive dialing. Monitor your statistics first and only adjust it later if necessary. Calls per agent. This setting controls the maximum number of simultaneous calls allocated to each agent. The system continuously optimizes this parameter in real time. Changing it is generally not recommended because an incorrect value may overload your telephony capacity or increase the number of abandoned calls. Telephony plugins. Here you select the telephony plugins that you configured in the previous step. Once everything is configured, save your settings. Now that we have created a team of agents who will work with PDS, the next step is to create a call mode. Let's move to the top on the page. A call mode is required so that the PDS knows which orders should be called. In simple terms, this is where you specify which order statuses should be included in dialing and which specific orders should be selected. You simply drag the required statuses from here to here, while the filters determine exactly which orders are included. If you already have call modes that were previously used with progressive call mode, you can use those same dialing modes for predictive dialing. There is no need to create new ones. The only limitation is that PDS supports all standard filters except the current user filter. Now let's move on Relations section at the top of the page. In this section, you connect a PDS team with one or more call modes and configure the dialing rules for each one. Here you can see our predictive team on the left and our call modes on the right. To connect them, simply move the desired call mode into the team, either by dragging them or clicking this button. Once the team and call modes are connected, we can configure the local settings: retry interval, attempts, and greeting audio file. Retry interval. Here you specify how many minutes the PDS should wait before making another attempt if the previous call was unsuccessful. For new cold leads, we'll set the retry interval for 10 minutes. The number of attempts. This setting defines how many times the PDS will try to reach a client for the same order. For new cold leads, we'll set the number of 2. Greeting audio file. Here you can choose one of the greeting files that you uploaded earlier while configuring the call center. Now let's configure the no-answer call lead. Since these are clients who didn't answer previously, we'll use a longer retry interval, for example 20, and use more attempts, 10. We'll use the same greeting audio file. That's it. We have now configured the connection between our predictive team and two different call modes, each with its own retry interval and number of dialing attempts, while using the same greeting audio file. On the previous screen, we showed how to configure the retry interval and number of attempts for predictive calls. When the maximum number of attempts has been reached, you can use triggers to automatically move the order to the appropriate status. This helps keep your workflow organized and prevents the system from calling the same orders too frequently. Let's take a look at the triggers we have created. The first trigger is called Order Move to Predictive No Answer. It is triggered by the event PDS attempt limit reached when the order is currently in the processing status and it has already reached 2 call attempts. The trigger then moves the order to the no answer status. In other words, the trigger monitors the number of call attempts, and once the limit of 2 attempts is reached, it automatically moves the order from processing to no answer. The next trigger uses the same event, PDS attempt limit reached. This time it works when the order is already in the no answer status and it has reached 10 call attempts. The trigger then moves the order to the cancelled status. How does the system track call attempts? Before every new call attempt, PDS automatically updates the order information. Last call time is updated and attempt number is updated. The counter increases by 1. This information is displayed in the last call column in the order list. It's also important to mention abandoned call. We have added a special event called PDS abandoned. Using this event, you can create a trigger that, for example, automatically moves such orders to a separate status. Then agents can immediately review these orders and manually follow up with them. Now let's look at the metrics available when working with PDS. We are currently on the same page where we created the predictive team, configured call modes, and set up their relations, call center management. To monitor performance, each team has several sections: PDS metrics, calls, plugins, and statuses. Let's take a closer look at each section. PDS metrics section. This section contains the key indicators that allow you to monitor predictive dialing performance in real time. Number of agents shows how many agents are currently connected to the predictive dialer. Number of busy agents show how many agents are currently on active calls. Calls per agent. The number of simultaneous calls that the predictive dialer makes for each available agent. Abandon rate shows the percentage of answered calls that were lost because no agent was available at the exact moment when the client was waiting. Maximum abandon rate. This is a critical threshold configured in the PDS team settings. The system tries not to exceed this value and keeps the abandon rate as low as possible. Order shortage. This indicator is not displayed as a separate bar. Instead, it appears as a gray background area on the chart. It means that the PDS has already processed all available orders and distributed them among agents, so you can upload more orders into the system. In this example, there is no gray background, which means there is currently no order shortage. There is also a red background indicator. It means that the PDS cannot increase its speed because it doesn't have enough available channels. All of these indicators are directly related to each other. The efficiency of PDS depends heavily on the number of active agents. If there are too few agents online, the PDS cannot scale up and will make fewer simultaneous calls, even if there are available channels. The reason is that the system understands that every answered call must be connected to a real agent. If the number of active agents constantly fluctuates or suddenly decreases, the number of abandoned calls will increase. The PDS algorithm is a mathematical model that predicts the required number of calls based on the current number of available agents. When multiple agents leave the call mode at once, the system cannot instantly slow down calls that have already been initiated. As a result, the number of clients answering calls temporarily exceeds the capacity of the remaining agents, which leads to an increase in abandoned calls. You can also change the chart time period 3, 6, 12 hours. This allows you to analyze predictive dialing performance over a longer period. And in this period, you can see that gray highlighting has appeared on the PDS matrix chart. This indicates an order shortage. The larger the shortage of orders becomes, the more intense the gray area on the chart will be. Let's move to the calls section. The chart displays cumulative statistics for all completed calls. The data on the chart is updated every 10 minutes, adding new results to the previous ones. This is why the chart lines continuously grow over time. This allows you to clearly evaluate the team's overall productivity and the distribution of calls throughout the working hours. The following metrics are available here. Successful: the number of calls where the PDS algorithm successfully connected a live client with an available agent. Abandoned: calls where the client answered, but the connection with an agent wasn't established. For example, because no agents were available at that moment. No answer: the number of call attempts where the client didn't answer. Voicemail: the number of calls where the system detected voicemail or an answering machine and automatically ended the call. Order shortage: on this chart, it's also displayed as a line and will continue growing if the shortage of orders accumulates. Let's move to the plugins section. This section helps you monitor the technical stability of your telephony plugins. While the first two sections focused on agent performance and call results, this section shows the overall health of your telephony infrastructure. Each line on the chart represents a separate telephony plugin. For example, if you have several different providers connected for outbound calling, you can compare the dialing success rate of each plugin. If you notice that one of the plugins suddenly drops significantly, this may indicate technical issues on the provider's side. You can also switch between time periods and analyze plugin stability over 3, 6, 12 hours. Now let's move to the final section, statuses. Here you can see a pie chart that displays the current statuses of agents in real time. The available statuses are online, when an agent is waiting to receive an order from PDS. In call, a system status that is assigned automatically when an agent receives a call from PDS. Feeding in data, a system status that is assigned automatically when an agent is still working in the order card after the call has already ended and is entering the required information. Break, lunch, training, technical break. These statuses are used for rest, training, or other non-calling activities. When an agent selects any of these statuses, they are disconnected from the PDS system and new calls will no longer be assigned to them. A supervisor can instantly see what percentage of the team is currently online and what percentage is on breaks. If most of the chart is occupied by break or lunch statuses, that indicates that predictive dialing efficiency may decrease due to an insufficient number of agents available online. On the left, you can see the list of agents. Next to an agent's name, you may see different icons. Each icon represents a specific status. Let's hover over them and see what they mean. The agent Maudi is currently in call, and you can connect to them in a prompter mode. Marisa is on break. Esteban is online. Betty and Drake are in calls. Milton is in break too. These icons are updated continuously in real time. If you ban an agent, they will appear here under the inactive section. We also display a table showing the current call statuses. It contains three main pieces of information: who is calling, who is being called, and call status. If you see an agent's name in the who is calling column, it means that the call has already been connected to that agent. If you see call center, it means that the call hasn't yet been assigned to an agent. Our system has a number of different call statuses, but most often you will see in call and ringing. Many statuses exist only for a very short time. For example, there is a status when PDS has just finished listening to the ringing tones and starts determining whether it is an answering machine or a real person. This status is called waiting for the customer to answer. Another example, when PDS has already identified a live person and is connecting them with an agent. This status is called waiting for available agent. These statuses change so quickly that we often don't even have time to display them in this table. Now, let's look at the indicators below the charts. Abandoned shows the current percentage of abandoned calls. Ringing calls shows how many calls are currently in progress. This indicator is very short term and updates every time the table shows that a call is currently being processed by the call center. Waiting for available agent means that PDS has reached the client and is currently searching for an available agent to connect the call. Waiting for subscriber answer means that PDS is analyzing the ringing tones and determining whether it is an answering machine or a real person. Agents shows the number of agents currently in the following statuses: online, filling in data. Break statuses and agents who are currently on calls are not included on this number. Agents in call shows which agents are currently handling calls. And calls per agent, this is a current ratio showing how many calls PDS is making per available agent. Let's see how an agent works with PDS. To start working with PDS, the agent needs to open the call mode and select the call center marked with PDS icon. Here you can see all available statuses that we have discussed earlier in this video. By default, the agent is automatically assigned the break status. This protects the agents from receiving calls immediately after entering PDS. Let's collapse the menu on the left to expand the workspace. To receive orders from PDS, the agent needs to change their status to online. At this moment, the algorithm starts working. However, keep in mind that the algorithm will start work only if at least 2 agents are in online status. Let's change the status in our demo company. Immediately, we see the following message: searching for a suitable order. Please do not close this tab to stay in the distribution queue. The agent must stay on this tab to receive an order from PDS, because the connection with the client happens instantly. We can also see the PDS auto disconnect timer, which is set to 30 seconds. The system continuously monitors the agent's activity in the tab. If the agent doesn't perform any action, doesn't move the mouse or press key within the specified time, the status automatically changes to break. The mechanism ensures that calls are not assigned to an inactive agent. As you can see the message, move your mouse pointer to stay online. And now the message has disappeared. To keep the agent active in the tab and make waiting more engaging, the agent can play a small cat game. Let's select status break. We are currently in demo mode, so no real calls are taking place. However, we'll explain what happens when a PDS call comes in. In PDS mode, there is no get order button. Everything happens automatically. The agent is immediately connected to the call and hears the client, while the client hears the agent. The process looks like this. First, the agent will see the call indicator. Second, the system displays an order preview containing all the necessary information to start the conversation, making it easier for the agent to begin the dialogue. Third, accelerated hello. The agent will also hear an accelerated version of the client's hello through the headset, the exact phrase that the neural network used to identify a live person. This allows the agent to understand what the client said before the actual connection and start the conversation more naturally. Fourth, order card. The full order card opens automatically. So the complete process looks like this: PDS call, order preview opens, accelerated hello, full order card opens automatically. While the agent is on a call or entering order information, no new calls are assigned to them. At the same time, the algorithm monitors the agent's current workload and starts dialing in advance to prepare the next call. During a conversation or while filling in order detail, the agent can take a break after finishing the current order. To do this, they select the status "Take a break after this call." It's important to remember that a new order from PDS will not be assigned until the agent completes and save changes to the current order. Now let's move on to PDS monitoring. It can be found under Statistics, PDS monitoring, by users. In predictive dialing, there are specific statuses that are selected manually by the agent or assigned automatically by the system. PDS monitoring is built based on these statuses. The chart displays all statuses that this particular agent has had during the selected period. There is also an overall summary presented as a pie chart. You can enable this alternative display mode. In this view, you won't see the hourly breakdown of agent statuses, but all statuses are summarized. This allows you to quickly see the total amount of time the agent spent in each status, for example, in call, online, filling in data, break, lunch, and etc. All PDS calls are recorded as well. We have now opened call history, which is located in the working mode. Here you will see a new call type in addition to incoming and outgoing calls. PDS call, a call initiated by PDS. Please pay attention to the PDS column. It contains several subcolumns. PDS status: abandoned, when the client didn't wait for an agent to answer. No answer, when the client didn't answer the call at all. Connected to agent, when the client and agent were successfully connected. Voicemail, when the call was answered but by an answering machine. PDS detector reason. This column shows the result of PDS detection algorithm. Available values. Human detected. The algorithm determined that the call was answered by a real person. Silent answer. The algorithm detected a real person who answered the call but remained silent. Known robot. The algorithm already recognized this answering machine or AI assistant from previous calls. Such calls are not transferred to an agent and are filtered out within a few seconds. And possible robot. The algorithm hadn't previously encountered this answering machine or AI assistant, but detected it based on specific patterns and filtered it out very quickly as well. You can always listen to the call recording if the system classified it as a live person, but you believe it was actually an answering machine. In this case, you can contact our support team for assistance. Idle agents. This subcolumn shows the number of available agents at the moment when PDS connected the client with an agent. This column is filled only when a connection with an agent was successfully established, and the history also displays the number of connection attempts. Finally, let's open call statistics. Here we can see the calls made column, which includes calls made both by PDS and manually by agents. Successful. This column shows the total number of calls where someone answered, regardless of whether it was a voicemail or a real person. Unsuccessful shows the number of calls where there was no answer. Next, we can see the breakdown by call duration. Less than 30 seconds, from 30 seconds to 10 minutes, and more than 10 minutes. Usually, the less than 30-second column is used to analyze the number of voicemails. However, you shouldn't be concerned if this number is high. Most of these short calls are likely voicemails, and they are automatically filtered out by our PDS system. Next, you can see 3 columns related to ringing time: successful with early media, unsuccessful with early media, and early media ringing. This metric helps you evaluate how useful PDS could be for your company before enabling it. The time spent listening to ringing tones takes away from your agent's working time. With PDS enabled, the system handles all these ringing periods automatically, while your agents focus only on meaningful conversation with clients. Configuring predictive dialing is not a simple process. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We will be happy to help.